Today, I want to talk about the four people who you need to create content for in order to experience success with content marketing. Now, the first of those is your audience. Many people, however, confuse their audience with their customers without realizing that your audience is not your customer. Your audience, for example, your followers on social media, are just people who enjoy interacting with your brand, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll actually purchase whatever it is, product or service that you offer. Usually, you'll have about 3 to 5% of people who are your audience who will actually become customers. But it doesn't mean that you should neglect your audience, because your audience can actually help extend your brand's reach to people who are within their network, who then can become your customers later on. The second set of people who you need to create content for is your potential customers. Now, I've spoken in several blog posts about this, whether in the form of the buying process or talking about the buyer pyramid, where I mentioned creating content for potential customers, whether it's to answer questions or objections that they may have to help get them off the fence to become paying customers, whether that is to actually educate them on a particular problem that they may not be aware of, so that they can now make the connection between your product offering and how it actually helps them solve whatever problem they may have. It can also be in the form of testimonial case studies. So creating content for potential customers to help them become actual paying customers. Now, another thing to also note is that your potential customers aren't necessarily your audience, because your potential customers, they may not have an interest in the type of content that's entertaining or educational that you may present to your audience, but these are the people who will actually take out their money and spend with you. The third set of people that you need to create content for is your existing customers. Now, there's a saying that says it takes 4 to 5 times, or I think is probably even 6 times more, or cost 6 times more to get a new customer than to retain an existing customer. And too often businesses neglect their existing customers, but you don't want to do that. You want to create the type of content. First of all, once they become customers, you want to have some sort of onboarding process, whether it's an email sequence or a video series that actually walks them through how they can maximize the product or service that they have just purchased, or probably to familiarize themselves with your ways of working in terms of the service that you offer. You also want to create content for your existing customers that retains them. So maybe educational content, not around a specific problem they may have, but how they can better maximize or how they can better use whatever product or service that you offer, probably in ways that they themselves may not have thought about when they first purchased your product or service. The final group of people that you need to create content for is your sales team. Now, I don't need to get into this much because pretty much every company does this, whether it's in the form of sales presentation, pitch decks, and so on. What I will, however, mention is that you want to tie the content for your sales team as it relates to your potential customers. What do I mean by that is not just creating sales presentation and pitch decks, but you also want to create the type of content that can help your sales team take potential customers through that buying process to move them from being a potential customer to actually becoming a paying customer.